Hello, everyone. Here's the Mind of Talk podcast. We're doing the weekly review. We're going to chat about the week of the teacher's life. How was your weekend, Nico?
My week was busy as usual. Um, but it was a quite successful week. I had some fun with my classes, and I hope my students had would say the same. They also had fun with me. Yeah. Actually, nothing special happened in my week. What about your week?
It's almost every single time that you say that.
Yeah. So
It's absolutely. I mean, it's kind of the same probably if you have the same class every week. But I mean, it's also interesting. For me, it's kind of different every single week, especially when I'm at the uni myself for a while for the semester and then it ends and then I have some bunch of different projects, then it looks kind of different.
Mm.
So now this week I came to another place. As you can see in the background, I'm once again in a new place.
Oh
And
yeah, this is new.
I'm currently doing some calligraphy course in Hungary over here. And it's quite a bit of fun. And it's also great for me because I haven't been doing, or I didn't have the chance to do calligraphy as much so far. I did it for 9 years in Japan, but not here. And I came to the idea maybe I could do that once again. And I thought of my students because, like, Japanese is special in the sense that you have to learn the writing system as well, and especially a little bit complicated for the European point of view because the writing itself is completely different. And if you start learning kanji and you realize that you have like at least 2000 kanjis, 2136 to be like accurate for the basic Japanese daily use. And like it's quite confusing of a language for the students. So I wanted to launch some kind of activity or some place where they can dive in a little bit more to the writing system. So it's great to be doing this. And actually, right yesterday, we had the first class here. And I was so surprised because they were so good at it. They never tried it before, but they got the idea quite quickly. So I had to teach like everything pretty fast. And I basically have to change my plan
Hmm?
completely
Because it was
because
you didn't have enough preparation for the class because they were that
I mean,
good.
we did learn a fair bit and we had fair bit of fun. But just the thing is, I thought maybe we're gonna just start with the straight lines as we always do in the Japanese schools and so on. And as it turns out, you don't have to teach them as you would kids because they're
Mm.
grown-ups. And apparently, like what works for them and how quickly they learn with the brush is a bit different from when you're teaching
Mm.
kids. So that was
Yeah.
quite interesting.
Mm. But you said it's a calligraphy class, right?
Uh-huh.
I thought a calligraphy class is focused on like writing beautiful kanji more than memorizing kanjis. Is my
You don't have to memorize
idea?
anything.
Huh? You don't have to memorize anything.
No, you
You
don't
said
have to because I
because
mean
you
it
said
depends on the type of
mm.
yeah.
No, because you said that you have to learn like 2000 kanji and it's a little bit different because they have to learn and but I thought like calligraphy is more like art, like drawing the kanji in a beautiful way, and it doesn't matter if they know the kanji or not, or it's or is it, do I
I mean
have
what I mean is what
a
I
wrong
mean
impression?
is that you get the better chance to analyze the writing system, especially when it comes to kanji. And even for hiragana, katakana, I can like draw the line between kanjis that the katakanas and hiraganas are originating from, and
Mhm.
then compare them, for example. Or I mean, for calligraphy itself, you don't really have to memorize anything or know anything. If you want to, just get a sheet next to you, and then you write exactly the way that you see.
Mm-hmm.
It's rather called shuji more than shodo.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, there are different ways. But the fact that I can explain to them like how the kanjis are structured and in what combinations they might appear and all that stuff, like I see that my students are enjoying that. And they also told me that it's great because they don't really learn how to, the in which order you need to get the lines and the stuff in the writing system and why you have the kind of system in the first place in school. Like when you're learning Japanese at a language school or anywhere else, usually the teachers would give the list of um I don't know, characters, and then they said like you need to learn this and maybe by next week we will be practicing this, so make sure you get enough practice at home. But they don't really go for analyzing the writings. I don't do it myself either because it's kind of time consuming. And in the classes, we don't have like too much time to dive into every single topic. So we kind of prefer to make it as a homework and kind of expect students to be preparing by themselves. But now the special thing about teaching calligraphy is we can do it a little bit from a different point of view or different style.
So it means the focus is still on drawing the kanji, but you give like extra input about the
Hmm.
system and how they teach to Japanese students, maybe something like this. You give like a some background information to the kanji, right?
Hmm.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
This is okay, okay, okay. Yeah, actually, I
yeah.
when I came to Japan, it was like almost 20 years ago. Yeah, 19 and a half years ago. I also took a kanji class. That time I used to live in Ichikawa in Chiba, and this Ichikawa city, and they offered free Japanese classes to foreigners. And it's what was organized by some were organized by non-profit organizations, others were organized by the city hall, and they were like mostly retired people, like Uji-san and Oba-san. Ne, they were retired and they felt like they want to get in touch with foreigners and want to teach some uh, Japanese culture and Japanese. And they offered this language, this Japanese classes. And one class was a kanji class. And it was a very, very nice old man. He used to be a chacho, like a general manager of a company. And he was super, super, super nice and super, super sweet. And he also really enjoyed teaching the kanji. And I really did some calligraphy. I bought like a fude pen. This is like
Mm.
this kind of, how do you call it in English? This kind of um,
Brush.
brush. Yeah, it's a brush. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I really, what I what drew the kanji, and it was so nice class, because it was like a kind of meditative action, you know. I really was like, ah, I really went into it, and it was so relaxing drawing Jesus kanji. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, this class was not so much about the history and like you do. It was more like writing the kanji, so like writing or drawing the kanji was more drawing than writing. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it because it was so meditative. And yeah, and I learned how to know the order. Yeah.
I think it's great because you can incorporate a lot of aspects for Japanese learning, like the kanji, hiragana, katakana, and those writing itself as well. But well, you can make it as artistic, as you said, and during the whole course, you can talk in Japanese and then practice it a little
Mm.
bit, and then have a chat about the Japanese culture as well, which we did. So I think it's a great opportunity. And there are a lot of students who are confused about the writings. It's not
Mm,
just the first 3 weeks they're confused and then they all of a sudden get everything, but they're constantly fighting with it, especially with kanji. So being able to add some different point of view to that is a great thing.
mm. Yeah, yeah. I think it's a really fascinating thing because it's something you don't have in European languages, right? There's no class with writing like Latin letters in a beautiful way. I mean, I did it in the elementary school in the first grade. I had to write them. Yeah, we call it Schulausgangsschrift in German. It's the basic or the standard handwriting we had
Mhm.
to practice. But this was the only time in my life I practiced beautiful writing. Afterwards, nobody cares about it anymore. As long as you can read it, nobody cares in
Yeah,
Germany. Yeah, yeah. That's why it's fascinating also, I think, for Europeans that it's a kind of art, I think. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And it's also like originally my idea was bringing my students together because I
Mm,
mainly teach people online, like from time to
mm,
time, face to face as well. But it's always in a small number of people at one time, like two students learning together happens too, but like not really three people, four people, five people all at the same time. So I wanted to bring them together to get a bit more motivated, maybe to learn the
mm,
difficult language and also have a bit of conversation with each other. Like even the students who are coming to my class are like taking different classes, so they don't know each other at
oh,
all.
cool.
And they usually learn Japanese online as well. But now they have a chance to chat with each other and practice a bit of Japanese as
Yeah.
well. So
So it means it was
great.
also a community event, huh? It's more, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Also socializing, not only learning Japanese or kanji, but also
Yeah.
socializing. Oh, nice, 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 nice. And it was also the first time for you to see them in reality?
Yeah, so these students that I'm teaching in this course is from the language school here
Mm-hmm.
in Budapest. So this is a little bit different. So I'm not teaching them at the moment,
Mm.
but like in the coming courses, there might be some of my students who would be
Mm-hmm.
joining in, and I'm usually teaching them Japanese as well.
Mm. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I wish I had something like this in German, then I could offer like a German calligraphy class. But actually, my handwriting is terrible. My students sometimes complain about my handwriting, and they really it's I think they have a reason to complain about my handwriting. Sometimes I think if you just use your brain, I think you would know what I'm writing. I mean, if you listen, but of course, I'm a teacher and I should write much more clearly than I sometimes do. Yeah, this is yeah what I face sometimes as a teacher. And my students complain about my handwriting. Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
a problem because actually we have the handwriting style, right? We have the how do you call it in English? In German we call it Druckschrift und Schreibschrift. It's the letters like printed in a newspaper
The
or in a
printed
book,
letters
the printed
and
letters and
the
writing letters, handwriting.
something like that, maybe.
Yeah. And the problem is that Japanese or many Japanese students, they cannot read the handwriting easily. And therefore, we German teachers use the printed letter way of writing. But of course, we write it with our hand. It's not like printed, right? It's a kind of mix of printed and writing style. And that's a kind of compromise if I really write in
I
handwriting like I learned in elementary school, maybe some people don't really, or they cannot read, or they feel it's difficult to read.
Yeah, I feel like the printed writing itself is not really difficult to read, but I just don't know the I don't remember the name of the writing, but maybe from the 15th century, 14th century German. Like they had like different types of writing system, and like it's quite easy to learn, but not a lot of people do, especially not in Japan. They don't know about those writing systems. So what I used to do in my school times, in high school, in middle school, in those places where I wanted to complain about my classes. But you shouldn't do it in front of the teacher's face. You should hide it somehow. But I wanted to write it down. So I used the different characters from the German tradition so that like anybody could see it, but nobody would understand it. And yeah, I
What
would
what what
explain to my friends. I
what
would
kind of
explain to,
what do you write? What kind of writing? You mean from the
no,
Middle
one type
Ages,
of
yeah?
writing. I don't remember the name of the writing
Uh,
itself, but it's quite an old one. And I used to
oh,
use it to just write like this class is so boring. I don't see the
uh,
point of coming to school for this. So like,
from which century? From the ninth century, Karolinische Minuskel, or what do you mean?
no, I think
Like
a bit a bit later, but I don't remember it too well.
be-
It's
because
just that
uh,
I heard it from my mom at some point. And yeah, she knows how to read it and write it. And then I started practicing it for a while. And
maybe
then I
you're
started
talking.
writing.
Are you maybe talking about Zitterlin handwriting?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
It's from the, I think Zitterlin was from beginning of last century. I think the German emperor. The problem was that we had the Latin letters and we had the German traditional letters, no? And we actually had two handwriting, or two handwriting, two types of alphabets in Germany. We had the Latin letters mostly for, yeah, text, a little bit like katakana in Japanese. Ne? Katakana is used for, yeah, foreign words, no? And they used to print and write texts, for example, from the science, or no, or foreign text with Latin letters, and traditional German with German letters. And there was a kind of fight between like the, the people, the royal people who already were able to speak French and other languages. They used lots of Latin letters, and the normal people mostly wrote with the German alphabet, and all the newspaper were in this German, old German letters. And it was a kind of uh, rival, how to say it, they were kind of fight, no? Which one they should use. And the emperor, I think he wanted to have one writing or one alphabet for everybody. And then he asked I think he was like a graphic designer that time. Maybe they didn't call it graphic designer, but his name was, I don't know, his first name was Sütterlin, to invent a new alphabet that they used. And I think it was 1910 or something, or 10 or 11 or something like this. And he invented a new, um, yeah, kind of writing, and it was called Sütterlin writing. And the kids in school had to learn this kind of writing. So,
Mhm.
and maybe this was this kind of, because I cannot read it. I cannot read it. It's a little bit similar to the alphabet, but it's also different, and uh, I cannot read a text in Sütterlin.
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean, if it's
something
the
like this.
same thing as I know, as I can
No.
write in, like it's not too difficult. It's not like I mean, it's they have like quite similar aspects, parts as in alphabet, so
Mm.
I think it's manageable. But it's just fun to learn like different styles of writing. Even some of my friends from the time when I was learning Hungarian, she wanted to learn hiragana just so
Mm.
she can write her diary in a different writing, but still in her own language, so that nobody would be able to read it, like not the Japanese who would understand hiragana, but not her language, or
Mhm.
those people who would understand her language, but not the hiragana writing. So it's kind
Like
of clever way to play around with
encrypted,
the different
encrypted.
writings.
So a
Yeah.
diary in hiragana, but she's from Hungary, in Hungarian.
No, no, she's not. She's not
She's
from other
she's
place.
from other person, but in her mother tongue, but using
Yeah,
hiragana. Wow, wow,
you could do that. So it was fun
interesting.
because some of my friends in high school, I remember she once saw me writing in that thing. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what if she would understand it? And clearly she didn't understand what I was writing on that because
Mm,
I was complaining about my teacher. But then she said, nowadays you can check the handwriting by Google. So there's kind of function somewhere in some of the
mm,
phones where you can take picture of the writing that you see, and then it would not translate, but like transliterate so that you can read it in a different font so that you
mm.
would understand. There's that kind of system as well. And she tried to use it on my writing. So she said, can I take a picture of it and maybe let Google read what it's about? And I was like, please, God, I hope she wouldn't understand anything about this. But it didn't work out. So it's just
So
for at
what was
least for
recently?
that time.
Recently, no, it means not
I
when
mean,
you
in
were a
my high school
kid.
time, like
But
when
they
was it? When was the
didn't have
high
AI.
schools? I think it was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago,
Okay,
something like that.
they didn't have AI yet, right, that time, right? But now I think AI will be able.
I
I
don't
I
think
just
so.
I just
Not
read
the
that
individual writings.
read some, I think it was last week, or I just recently I read a little article about AI was encrypting very old hieroglyphs just by, I don't know, the AI did
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I
So
still feel like if it's systematic writing as they used to have in the older days in the
mm,
I don't know, like in the church organizations as well, so that they have to write beautifully and slowly, then it would be easier to analyze it. But I still have my own handwriting system as well, so I think it might take a bit of
mm.
time for the humanity to understand what I was writing that time.
But maybe
But
AI would be able to encrypt your
I'm not sure. I'm
writing.
not sure.
I'm quite sure that it will. I'm so sure it will. Maybe not now, but in future.
In the future,
So be
possible.
careful. Be careful with your texts.
I mean,
Maybe
at this
should burn
point,
it. Should burn it that nobody can read anymore.
I don't have any problem like with anybody understanding what I didn't like about my school at that time. So
But
no
maybe it's better
worries.
that this teacher knows. Maybe it's a good feedback
Yeah, yeah,
to
definitely.
improve the
Maybe I
class.
should just send them in the email.
Yeah. By the way, I just came to my mind because you were talking about like a calligraphy class and writing. I don't know if you noticed, but when I came to Japan, I noticed that the students they hold the pen in a completely different way than we do in Europe. No?
Hmm.
Um, if you take a pen, no, I have a pen. Let me see, like a red pen, and you can see better. No, I write like this. And I see my students always writing like this. They hold the pen somehow different. And then they write
Hmm.
like this. And I don't know, maybe it comes from writing kanji because you have always to, it's how to say, like what is it called, this bird, that the bird that is hacking into the tree to get the worm. And they write like this. Hmm? But
Yeah.
I learned writing like more like and the good thing of the handwriting of the standard handwriting is that you don't need to my English is not sufficient to explain. Um, in Japanese, you really have it black and like all the strokes like this, right? You always have to start from again. But with the handwriting, you can write everything with one line. And we
Mhm.
hold the pen like this. How do you hold the pen? Like this?
I don't know if it's
Or
because of that, but I do see a lot of that kind of writing. I mean, at least it's not how they teach in school. So, like in school, how they would teach is something like that,
but it's also
or
different.
is
See, it's
it?
different. It's completely different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's different.
usually take my pen either like this, something in this way, or like this. This is more easier when I'm writing a
See,
lot
it's completely different
and
than
my
we
hands
learn.
get a bit. But this is not really Japanese. I just invented it by myself.
But because I see on my students, they always write like this. I hardly ever see somebody really writing like I learned. They always like it's more like vertical way of the pen. We have the pen like more diagonal, like no?
Mhm,
Angle. We have a special angle, like 45 degrees or something like this. And I see my students, it's much steeper, and they
mhm.
write like this. Isn't it
Yeah,
Japanese? It's something I
I don't
noticed in
know.
Japan. I noticed in Japan. I don't know in other countries and other languages, but yeah, this was yeah for me fascinating how they use a pen because I cannot write like this.
Mhm,
And it would be also difficult, in Germany we write with a what is it called in English? Um, Füller. What's this called? Füller?
fountain pen.
Fountain pen? Right, fountain
Mhm,
pen. Yeah, and for this you have to hold the pen like this in this with this angle. You cannot write like this. With a
mhm,
ball pen you can write like this. With a fountain pen you cannot. And that's also the reason why I don't know how it is to nowadays, but when I was a kid, we were forced to write with a fountain pen, and they told us it's because we took that we learned to hold the pen in a proper way to improve our handwriting. They told
mhm.
us, and we were not allowed to write with pencil or with ball pen um, that time.
Yeah. I feel like nowadays in Germany they still have a stronger tradition of that, like fountain pen writing in school.
Mm.
Although not all of them are like it's not really mandatory anymore from what I've heard from my students there.
Uh,
But here I heard that nowadays they like it's less obligatory to write with a fountain pen, as I talked to my students yesterday. They
okay.
told me that they still could use it, but they don't have to. Most of the times, the students would use ballpoint pen.
Sounds to me like the school in Germany is not so strict anymore as it was
Yeah,
before. Looks like these
I
kids
feel
they
so
can do
too.
whatever they want, and the parents complain, oh my child, and well, why does it have to do like this? Uh, I want that my child is free, has all can or say can learn how they like and how
Hmm.
they feel, and if they don't have any desire anymore, then they should have take a break. I know it's just an impression, maybe it's wrong, but
Yeah,
it feels like this. Yeah, yeah, because my school,
cool.
I was that time I grew up in the GDR, right? East Germany, and I think the school in East Germany was maybe stricter than in West Germany, maybe.
Hmm.
Nobody were asking
Probably.
if the parents if this would be fine, and in school there was not a vegetarian option or vegan option, and there was something to eat, and everybody had to eat, and everybody ate. And
Hmm.
the teacher said you have to do this, and everybody did. There was nobody complaining about the way they taught us. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just did it.
Yeah.
Everybody was fine with that.
Writing is itself is pretty interesting, and if you can like it depends on the culture as well and in the language you're learning. But it's a good thing, fair thing to dive into. I remember from school, like when we were learning English and then alphabet for the first time. Like for me, not really the first
Mm,
time, but most of the
mm,
the rest of us, they were like getting in contact with them for the first time, and they were very strict about it. Like you have to write it this way, and otherwise it's all wrong.
mm,
And it took them like way too long to write a single letter, but it's an interesting activity, I think.
mm.
So
I think it's
yeah.
also maybe also very important to for your how to say in English for your in German would say motoric to learn to use your fingers and I mean
Hmm.
just typing on your smartphone on a touch screen is maybe not the same like writing on paper with a real pen and to write it in a beautiful way to practice. I think it
Yeah.
makes a big difference also for our brain.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Definitely, for sure.
Hmm.
So I guess that's about it for the week.
Yeah, sorry guys, I don't have anything special to report. No highlights, no lowlights in my week. Let's see if something will happen next week. Yeah, if so,
Yeah.
I will let you know next week. So that's
Okay.
why please come back next week
Yeah,
and have a look at our other published videos. There will be more
exactly.
videos about proverbs no, and
Hmm.
sayings
And
in
also
German.
one deep dive coming. I still have to work on it, but it's coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah,
So
I really have. Did we actually mention already that you are the person who is
the
who's
one who carries the burden of the Mindless
to
podcast.
does all the technical everything you have to do to publish the video, right? I'm just
Yeah.
chatting, and you are making um, the thumbnail and um, uploading
Yeah.
it and
I
scheduling
still need
it.
to find a better system to work on it, but like this week it was full on. Like
Mm,
I
mm,
came to Germany and then left Germany, and then I'm in Hungary right now. And then
mm.
all the rest of the course things and my internet, I need to be careful about it as well, because I don't want to use too much data on it. I mean, I already have to do it a lot because I'm teaching online. But well,
You don't
anyways,
have Wi-Fi? You don't have wireless
I
net?
have mobile Wi-Fi, but
I
not
use a mobile.
at the
Ah,
place.
okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So that's why I
Mm.
should keep it simple as possible.
So then let's finish
Good.
to save data.
Yeah. Cool. Then
Okay.
thank you very much for watching once again, watching, listening, whatever you're doing, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.